Hey folks, in this episode of the lesson series, we are going to look at open D minor tuning. And it was a tuning that I know Skip James used a lot, and a tuning that Robert Johnson used some, especially on a song called Hellhound on My Trail. And it's a tuning that's very, very versatile. And I just want to share with you some of the things you can do with open D tuning, because for me, it was just a mystery for a long time. So the first thing I'll do, let me just share the tuning with you. Here's what it sounds like. Okay, now you've got D, A, D, and then F, A, D. So you can see the only difference between open D minor and open D is that F. You know, the third string is an F natural instead of an F sharp, okay? Now, what's cool about this tuning is a lot of blues players used it when they were playing in just open D, because then they could get that. If you take your first finger and you put it, or any finger, and you put it down on the first fret on the third string, you suddenly have a D major chord, right? So let's just start by exploring the neck a little bit with the tuning. All right, and to do that, what I'd like to do is outline chords for a blues. Now, of course, you can do minor blues. You're already there. You know, open is D minor. The 5th fret is G minor. All right, and then when you play the 7th fret, you can either play B minor, or you can play B major by putting your first finger down on the 3rd string on the 8th fret and the rest of the strings barred at the 7th with your first finger. Or another way to play that chord to get the A7th is go down to the bottom of the neck and play the 5th string open, the 4th string at the 2nd fret, 3rd string 2nd fret, 2nd string open, and the 1st string at the 2nd fret. Alright, but there's some really cool things you can do, and Skip James made a lot of use out of this tuning. Alright, so, and we're going to go over several things here today. So let me start just by showing you an intro, because Skip James would use this, and he wouldn't use a slide a lot of times. He'd just play. Let me show you a little intro that I learned from listening. This is kind of a Skip James flavored intro, okay, that I learned from listening to his, that I learned from listening to his recordings. All right, here it is. All right, that kind of stuff. So what's he doing there? Basically, if you put the D7th chord shape and move it up to the 3rd fret, where your first finger's on the 3rd fret on the 2nd string, 3rd finger is on the 4th fret on the 1st string, and your 2nd finger's on the 4th fret of the 3rd string, and play everything open, that's a D7th, right? So he would play that. And all he would do is he'd have it all like that, open, and then he would lift up his 3rd finger and let that 1st string ring. So he'd play it, lift, down, lift, and then do the same thing by moving the whole contraption back 1 fret. Then 1 more fret. And then do that little trill, and I use my first finger for that, and trill on the 3rd string at the 1st fret, right? And that's a lot like the intro to I'm So Glad, where it goes. You know, it's just fantastic. So what was that last move? So all it is you're going to be alternating 6-4. So you're going to hammer on to the 1st fret on 3rd string, boom. Play the 1st string open, 2nd string, 2nd fret, and just go back and forth between that and the first string and third string. Like with a little finger roll, okay? So that's a really interesting thing that you can do. You can also get a really dark mood with open D minor tuning without playing in minor. All right, let me demonstrate. Alright, so those are all ways that you can get that really deep, dark delta sound. And what am I doing there? One thing I do is I change the A, which is the fifth of the to a minor. And how do I do that? I play open 5th string, 2nd fret 4th string, 3rd fret 2nd string, and open 1st string. And then I can, you know, take my middle finger and put it down on the 2nd fret on the 1st string, and then climb down with my 3rd finger on the 2nd string. 3, 2, open, right? And then all I'm doing there is going to put my 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the 5th string, open 4th, 2nd fret 3rd, open 1st and 2nd string. All sounds you can get, all right? That's one of the great things about open minor tunings, open D minors. You can get that nice ringing sound, all right? So let me show you just a couple of tricks there before we move on, and I show you how you can take this tuning and have a lot of versatility, you know? Like the title of this installment is, it's a tuning for all seasons or all seasonings, because you can get all kinds of sounds, all kinds of feeling out of it. All right, one thing that I notice a lot of players do is they'll use that, and that's a very it's not major, it's not minor, it's just sevenths, okay? And all that is open 5, 4, or 6, 5, and 4, and then 4th fret on the 3rd string, 3rd fret on the 2nd string, and then open 1st string. Alright, and you want to alternate around in those sounds. I call that the Skip James concept of constant movement. What I loved about his playing was there was always something going on in the top, right? It was always, you know, to get all those sounds, and it's just a fantastic, a beautiful sound. And I would encourage you to go out and listen to a lot of Skip James. All right, so let me show you one more Skip James lick to kind of get you started with this tuning, and then let's move on to another concept with the tuning. All right, so one of the great licks that Skip James did was this. All right, and all that is he's playing a constant beat on the 6th string. And what he's doing is he's up at the 7th fret, and he's got his first, or I have my first finger at the 7th fret. I have my 2nd finger at the 8th fret on the 2nd string. So 7th fret 1st string, 8th fret 2nd. And I'm going to bend that 2nd string up a little bit. Boom, boom. And then, so I'm going as bum, bum 2 times. And then I'm bringing my 3rd finger up to the 9th fret. and then off again, keeping my first finger down on the 2nd fret, on again, and then 10th fret with my 3rd finger, 9th fret, off, and then open 1st string, 2nd fret, 2nd string, open 1st string, and then that little trill where I go trilling onto the 1st fret on the 3rd string and then hit the top 2 strings together. So and I'm lots of climbing up and down scales, you know. You can even take little Scrapper Blackwell licks like that and throw them in there. So it's a great tuning to have a dark delta mood with and to create like an atmosphere. You can get very atmospheric with open D minor tuning. Now, let's talk about, I made some notes here. Let me get them out. Let's talk about a Robert Johnson lick. Okay, I've shown you a Skip James lick, and I'm going to show you a turnaround Robert Johnson used in Hellhound on My Trail, and it was. Okay, all that is the open 1st string, and he's going to put his, well, any finger you want to put on there, onto the 3rd fret on the 5th string. Alright, and climb down. 3rd on the 5th string, 2nd on the 5th string, 1st on the 5th string, and then open, and then 3rd string, hammer onto the 1st fret, and on the 2nd string and 1st string, you're going to play open, letting the 1st string ring, open 2nd string, 2nd fret, 2nd string, 3rd fret, 2nd string. Like that. And it's got a very Skip James's feel to that as well, which maybe Skip James had a Robert Johnson feel. I don't know which way that went, but anyway. Alright, so that's the way Robert Johnson used this tuning. Again, Hellhound on My Trail, if you look that tune up, and I know you can find it on YouTube, it is extremely moody, okay? And it's a great way to look at this tuning and say, okay, what can I do with this tuning? You know? And a lot of times, Robert Johnson, on Hellhound on My Trail, it goes D to A, or actually he was open E minor, so it would have been E to B, but D to A, okay? And for in the first verse, he would play the E by going, or the D, and then the A. Alright, and what was that? I mean, it's very interesting, his playing anyway, on a whole scale, but it's just, there's so many things available. All that is going up to the 7th fret, putting your 1st finger on the 7th fret on the 1st string, 2nd finger 8th fret 2nd string. You're going to bend that up on the 2nd string to where it sounds like you're on the 9th fret on the 2nd string. But let it kind of hang flat a little bit. And then for the A, play the 5th string open and slide that whole contraption down where your 1st finger is on the 5th fret of the 1st string, 2nd finger's on the 6th fret of the 2nd string, and you're just going to do the same bend. So you can see how that works, and then you can go to that G. So sometime I'll do a Hellhound on My Trail lesson and show you all that good stuff. But for now, the main focus is what is the versatility. You got those chords, and then, which I'd already showed you, that's that G chord. All right. Now, what I'd like to do is show you how you can expand this into other styles of music. Okay, this tuning is it's very good for expanding out into other styles. One, you can do country, do some pedal steel licks. So that's from D to G. What's that lick? All you're doing is going up to the 9th fret on strings 2 and 3, sliding 9, 8, 7, and then 9th fret on 3 and 4, 9, 8, 7, and then climbing back up on 3 and 4, 8, 9. All right, and that's simply a, that's just a pedal steel sounding lick, and you can do all kinds of things with that, okay? I'm going to have a little bit more of an in-depth lesson over on Patreon, and I'll have all the tabs over there. So if you're interested in that, head on over to Patreon, sign up, and it'll help support me and help me to be able to keep doing what I do. All right, folks, have a great week. Enjoy, and please reach out if you have questions. Hey, folks, please drop me a comment and let me know where you're watching from. And if you like this content, please like and subscribe. And hey, thanks for watching.